Yin Xie and the Nine-Soul Steel clashed fiercely, unleashing a terrifying explosion. "Take action," the Nine-Soul Steel said coldly. Clearly, the Nine-Soul Steel was out of options in dealing with Yin Xie, as both had consumed a significant amount of power in their earlier exchanges. Wu Jiang, Hu Du, and the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger exchanged glances upon hearing the command. Instantly, a surge of Do Qi erupted from their bodies as they launched an assault on Yin Xie. A relentless barrage of terrifying attacks rained down on Yin Xie without pause. "Damn it!" Yin Xie was shocked. The protective ghostly aura surrounding his body had been shattered by Wu Jiang and Hu Du, something he had not anticipated at all. With his formidable defense broken, Yin Xie's strength significantly declined, and having already exhausted much of his power in the battle with the Nine-Soul Steel, his expression grew grim. The air suddenly echoed with a soft, unsettling rustle. Four pitch-black chains materialized around Yin Xie, desperately resisting the attacks from all sides. The moment they appeared, the chains, filled with an overwhelming malevolent energy, lunged at the four attackers. Ha ha ha. Yin Xie. The twin ghost emperors are ultimately only complete when the two halves are united. Without your other half, your strength will always fall short, the Nine-Soul Steel sneered. Although Yin Xie had just absorbed the power of the Forest of Yin corpses and reached the half-step 8-star Ghost Emperor, unless the twin Ghost Emperors fully merged, there was still a chance to defeat them. Then try me. Yin Xie snorted. The pitch-black chains unleashed savage, ferocious spirits, each one howling as they charged at the four. The Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger summoned 4 fiery barriers, which instantly blocked the onslaught of the dark chains. However, atop the fiery barriers, faint blue flames flickered gently. Wu Jiang, noticing this, was visibly surprised. He had not expected the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger's 5-star Do D level, Heavenly Sacred Flame to withstand Yin Xie's assault. His shock, though, was short-lived as he quickly resumed his attack. "What are you doing here?" "Get back!" the Heavenly Fire Sacred Tiger shouted, recognizing that his defense wouldn't hold off Yin Xie's power for long. He was buying time for them when a familiar silhouette appeared before him. "Count me in." Mu Yingying bit her lip as blue flames began to envelop her body. "Is that?" Down below, Xiao Yan's eyes were locked onto Mu Yingying in the sky, her azure flames seeming odd. "The fire around Mu Yingying, it's no ordinary flame," Xiao Yan muttered, his instincts telling him that the flames within his own body were afraid of Mu Yingying's azure flames. "That fire. It's even more terrifying than the newly fused flame born from your 23 heavenly flames," echoed the voice of the Golden Dragon King. "But it's still weaker than sacred flame," the Golden Dragon King added. "That blue fire, it isn't a sacred flame? Why do I feel like there's something strange about it?" Xiao Yan whispered to himself. He could sense an incredibly dangerous fluctuation emanating from the blue flames, though it seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared, flickering in and out like an elusive shadow. "Elder." Unable to figure it out, Xiao Yan walked forward to support the weakened Xiao Yu. Cough, cough. "I'm fine, but I didn't expect Yin Xie's power to be this frightening." Xiao Yu, once youthful and handsome, now showed signs of exhaustion. "Elder, is there really no way to deal with Yin Xie?" Xiao Yan muttered softly. "I came here because of this very issue," Xiao Yu responded. "I can sense an immense power within you, and just now, Yin Xie revealed a glimpse of his true form. Yin Xie is not immortal. If we can strike his heart, he can be defeated. However, the defense around his heart is incredibly strong, and one mistake." Xiao Yu didn't finish his sentence, understanding that this would be a dangerous and thankless task. "I'll do it," Xiao Yan declared firmly, his eyes gleaming with determination. "Consider it repayment for the spatial movement technique you taught me." "No. Xiao Yan, you can't." Mu Yu's voice, laced with anger, echoed as she intervened. "Yin Xie's strength is now comparable to that of an 8-star Do D, even after exhausting much of his power. This is not something you can handle. I absolutely refuse to allow this." Mu Yu angrily protested. "Just this once, let me be reckless." "Don't worry, I'll come back alive. I still haven't completed my promise to help you inherit the legacy, so I won't be leaving so easily, Xiao Yan smiled, an invisible force already holding Mu Yu in place. Mu Yu, though clearly upset, remained silent and still. Xiao Yan knew that if he made the slightest mistake, she wouldn't hesitate to break the seal on her inheritance again. Before leaving, Elder Yueyu had specifically entrusted Xiao Yan to take good care of her. After finishing his words, Xiao Yan was immediately enveloped in milky white flames, and with a swift motion, he shot into the sky. Due to his immense soul power, Xiao Yan knew very well that the 4 people fighting in the sky were barely managing to hold their own against Yin Xie. Without someone capable of launching a decisive attack, their fate would be sealed. They would fall. This was something Xiao Yan couldn't allow, so he chose to act. What are you standing around for? Give him the final blow. The heavenly fire sacred tiger urged, launching his own attack in tandem. So you're Xiao Yan, Mu Yingying was visibly surprised, not expecting Xiao Yan to have such courage. Despite facing a half-step 8-star ghost emperor, he showed no signs of retreat. I go by no other name, Xiao Yan replied with a slight smile. This isn't a place for someone like you. Step aside. Mu Yingying bit her lip, clearly unimpressed by Xiao Yan's past achievements. After all, those were mere sparring matches, while this was a life-or-death battle. Not to mention, Xiao Yan's early 4-star Do D strength was simply insufficient here. Haha, you don't need to worry about that. Since I've come, I have my reasons, Xiao Yan responded coldly. You? Mu Yingying was momentarily speechless, shocked by how stubborn Xiao Yan was. How could his early 4-star Do D strength possibly make a difference here? I'm not the type to hide behind a woman, Xiao Yan said with a grin. Without another word, a terrifying, unprecedented aura erupted from him. What is this? Yin Xie, standing nearby, fixed his gaze on Mu Yingying's blue flames, a look of disbelief crossing his face. The ghostly aura around him began to tremble in fear at the mere presence of those flames. Such arrogance. When the time comes, don't. Mu Yingying bit her lip in frustration, clearly irritated by Xiao Yan's words. High above, the battle raged on, but it was clear to any observer that it was entering its final phase. The 9-soul steel's immortal sword shone brilliantly, its cleansing power overwhelming as it relentlessly attacked Yin Xie, forcing him to retreat step by step. On the side, the heavenly fire sacred tiger, Hu Du, and Wu Jiang assisted the 9-soul steel. Each time the steel attacked, it would briefly weaken, requiring time to recharge the immortal sword. Though powerful, the sword was damaged, and could only function in this way. With the support of the trio, the 9-soul steel could at least catch its breath. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan and Mu Yingying floated in the air, staying outside the immediate battle. Why is Yin Xie always on the defensive, never attacking? The 9-soul steel muttered, realizing that despite his relentless strikes, he could never hit Yin Xie's true form, as though his attacks were being neutralized. How could this woman possibly possess such power? This can't be. Yin Xie's mind churned in turmoil. With Mu Yingying's appearance, the heart hidden deep within Yin Xie's dark aura began to beat more violently, as if it had recognized something. Damn it, stop! Yin Xie was visibly alarmed. The heart inside Yin Xie wasn't originally his. Since he was a ghostly entity, he had no physical body and couldn't form one. Instead, he had possessed a human body to boost his power. The woman Xiao Yan had seen earlier in white was the vessel Yin Xie had taken over. Despite the woman's weak strength, her body was strangely compatible with Yin Xie. When Yin Xie had been sealed, he had attempted to assimilate the woman's soul, but her unwavering will prevented him from succeeding. After the woman entrusted Xiao Yan with her final wish, her will had been suppressed. However, with Mu Yingying's arrival, the heart's resolve surged again. Damn it, stop! Yin Xie cursed, but no matter what he did, the heart within him pounded uncontrollably. Then, the others witnessed something unexpected. The ghostly aura around Yin Xie began to dissipate, gradually revealing the figure of a woman. It's a woman! The heavenly fire sacred tiger was stunned. He had never imagined that the infamous twin ghost emperors would possess a female form. The woman was dressed in white robes, but her face was obscured by a dark, ghostly mist. The most striking feature was the pulsating white energy at her chest. Arg! Yin Xie let out a blood-curdling scream. "What's happening?" Xiao Yan muttered, clearly puzzled by the current turn of events. "There's more to Mu Yingying than meets the eye. The state Yin Xie is in must be linked to Mu Yingying, and that white energy at his chest, if I'm not mistaken, it's the lingering will of the woman you saw earlier. In other words, it's the heart." The voice of the Golden Dragon King echoed in Xiao Yan's mind. "There seems to be some kind of connection between that woman and Mu Yingying," Xiao Yan whispered to himself. Nearby, Mu Yingying bit her lip, staring blankly at the white energy pulsing from Yin Xie's chest. Suddenly, the silver ornament on her head began to radiate an intense, brilliant light. "What is that? Why does it give me such a warm feeling?" Mu Yingying murmured, her voice filled with confusion. "Be careful, I'm not sure what Yin Xie is up to," the Nine-Soul Steel warned softly. "Ha ha ha. It seems Yin Xie hasn't fully assimilated this body yet. This could be your last chance," Netherspring said, gradually increasing his own energy. Master Yin Xie, the malevolent ghost spirit, and Mu Lu had finally arrived. Seeing Yin Xie screaming in the sky, the malevolent ghost spirit shouted, "Mu Lu, take our forces and the people from Crimson Valley. Clear out all the humans on the ground. I'll go assist Master Yin Xie." "Understood." Mu Lu nodded. Though he didn't fully grasp the situation, he knew that the terrifying aura coming from Yin Xie was far beyond his own. Thus, he readily agreed. "Kill them all. Anyone who stands in Master Yin Xie's way, leave none alive." Mu Lu growled, fixing his eyes on the humans below. "Kill." As soon as Mu Lu gave the command, countless ghostly creatures, shrouded in dark and ghostly qi, charged wildly at the humans on the ground. With the arrival of the Yin corpses, Mu Li's strength surged to the mid-level of a 4-star Do D, while the malevolent ghost spirit's power increased to the level of a 5-star Do D. Damn it! So many powerful ghostly creatures. Mu Feng was the first to notice the oncoming wave of ghostly beings attacking them. He quickly drew out a wooden sword, gently dispelling the restriction around Yueyu, before turning to face the approaching horde with a grave expression. From his perception, the strength of these ghost creatures was enough to rival that of human 4-star Do D experts, and there were even some whose strength matched the peak of a 4-star Do D. At the same time, Qiu Huanyao, Luoguang, and the others also found themselves under attack. They had no choice but to abandon the battle in the sky to focus entirely on defending against the relentless assaults before them. "Mu Yingying, are you all right?" Xiao Yan asked cautiously, but was met with silence. "Damn it!" Xiao Yan muttered under his breath as his gaze shifted to the nearby Yin corpses. A thought began to form in his mind. "Elders, lend me your strength." "1 minute," Xiao Yan said. Closing his eyes, he began to gather an immense and terrifying power within his body. "All right." The elders nodded in agreement. "What is this kid trying to do?" The Nine-Soul Steel, Wu Jiang, and the others wondered, but seeing Xiao Yan's actions, they didn't ask further. Instead, they focused their attacks on the still screaming Yin corpses. Ha ha ha. The screams of the Yin corpses gradually weakened, but their laughter became more horrifying. At the same time, the white energy at their chest was slowly being devoured. "After all these years, it's time for you to rest in peace. Humans are all worthless. Let me avenge you by slaughtering all those who have betrayed you." As the Yin corpse's voice grew more sinister, the white energy in their chest completely disappeared, becoming part of their own power. "Ha ha ha. Xie, I don't know where you've gone, but I no longer need you, for I have completely assimilated her. I, the twin ghost emperor, have returned." A thunderous voice echoed throughout the forest of Yin corpses. As Yin Xie consumed all of the white-clad woman's will, his power smoothly broke through to the level of an 8-star ghost emperor. Now possessing strength comparable to a human 8-star Do D, the twin ghost emperor Yin Xie laughed wildly, his gaze fixating on those in the sky. "Now that I am whole again, let the slaughter begin." Nine-Soul Steel, do you remember how you and the 5 Docian of Mystic 3 Heaven sealed me away? That seal lasted thousands of years. Now it's time to settle our score. As Yin Xie spoke, his body flashed with eerie speed, appearing directly before the nine-soul steel. Ha ha ha. Despite Yin Xie's sudden approach, the nine-soul steel remained calm. Though Yin Xie had indeed fully merged with the human body, vastly increasing his strength, the earlier battle had drained much of their Do Qi, and now Yin Xie's ghostly energy was nearly depleted as well. Additionally, Xiao Yan was still gathering a terrifying power, which gave the nine-soul steel confidence. He nodded slightly, looking at Yin Xie, and said, "Though you've broken free from your bonds, I believe you're running on empty now. You don't have the strength to kill us." The nine-soul steel smiled, his Do Qi swirling within him. "Heh, as expected from my old rival. However, whether I have enough or not, there's only one way to find out." Yin Xie sneered. He knew the nine-soul steel was right. His ghostly energy was almost fully depleted. His plan was to find a place to recover and consolidate his strength. Once he had regained his power, killing these people would be no more difficult than slaughtering lambs. But Yin Xie's personality wouldn't allow him to let these people go. By killing them, he could absorb their remaining souls, even soul fragments, which would provide him with terrifying amounts of power. He was greedy and unwilling to pass up the opportunity. Despite his dwindling energy, Yin Xie decided to gamble. There was also something else that made him hesitant: the nine-soul steel's ultimate move, self-destruction. The self-destruction of a peak 7-star Do D would be devastating, a force not to be underestimated. Knowing this, Yin Xie wasn't entirely confident and dared not provoke the nine-soul steel too much. But after a brief internal struggle, Yin Xie made up his mind to kill the nine-soul steel, his greed for their power overpowering his fear. "Though I may not kill you right now, I can still reclaim some things," Yin Xie said, gathering the last of his ghostly energy, which surrounded him as he attacked the nine-soul steel. Swish, swish. Black chains shot through the nine-soul steel's body, and at the moment they pierced him, a strange smile appeared on his face. "I've heard this is something unique to your ghost realm." The nine-soul steel grasped one of the chains tightly, his expression growing serious. The soul-locking chain. Once hit by it, not even a Do Xian can escape death. Nine-soul steel, you might as well accept your fate. But don't worry, the others will join you soon enough. Yin Xie laughed maliciously. Ha ha ha. Yin Xie, you underestimate me. The nine-soul steel let out a cold laugh, and in the next instant, a terrifying red flame erupted, surging along the black chains, heading straight for Yin Xie's body. Damn old ghost. You're stubborn to the end, Yin Xie muttered coldly, clearly startled by the nine-soul steel's desperate counterattack. Under the onslaught of the nine-soul steel's red flames, Yin Xie's ghostly qi continued to thin out. Yin Xie and the nine-soul steel were locked in a deadlock, neither able to overwhelm the other. Both were clearly giving it everything they had in a final, desperate struggle. Die! Yin Xie snarled, and after a brief stalemate, the black, ghostly qi surrounding him surged violently. Four terrifying soul-locking chains shot toward the nine-soul steel with a deafening roar. Heh, Yin Xie, you're being far too arrogant. A cheerful voice suddenly rang out in Yin Xie's mind. Before the chains could reach the nine-soul steel, they were suddenly shattered and repelled by an unseen force. Who are you? Yin Xie sensed that something was terribly wrong. Chang Yu, a red-robed man, responded calmly. The deputy pavilion master of the outer pavilion of the incense pavilion? Yin Xie's voice was filled with shock. Yin Xie, it's time for you to come with me, Chang Yu said slowly. The sins you've committed are too great. Damn it. Yin Xie's expression turned grim. This situation had clearly spiraled beyond his control. Master, the malevolent ghost spirit appeared behind Yin Xie. You're just in time. How are the preparations? Yin Xie asked. Nether Spring betrayed us, the malevolent ghost spirit said quietly. Master Xie Yin was killed by Nether Spring? All the preparations were orchestrated by Nether Spring. This is troublesome. Yin Xie's rage surged upon hearing the news. He hadn't expected Nether Spring to betray him and challenge his authority. Worry about yourself first, Chang Yu interrupted. Without waiting for Yin Xie to finish plotting, He waved his hand, sending a column of flames, imbued with terrifying power, straight toward Yin Xie. Yin Xie had no choice but to frantically evade the attacks. Meanwhile, Mu Yingying had snapped out of her earlier days, though her mind seemed distracted. She muttered to herself, "What is that aura coming from him? Why does it feel so familiar?" On the other side, Xiao Yan, sitting cross-legged in midair with his eyes closed, had positioned his hands opposite each other. Between his palms, a terrifying fluctuation of power began to form. He was channeling a formidable soul force along with the destructive power of the Lotus of Desolation, a product of fusing 23 types of heavenly flames. Additionally, a life inscription slowly coalesced at his chest. "I wonder if this will work," Xiao Yan thought, a hint of uncertainty in his mind. "Be careful. No one's ever done this before, and I can't shake the feeling that there's an even more sinister power lurking within Yin Xie. Chang Yu might not be able to defeat him." The Golden Dragon King's voice echoed in Xiao Yan's mind, sounding a note of caution. "MHM." Xiao Yan nodded, hesitating no longer. The exquisitely formed Lotus of Desolation hovered steadily between his hands. In his left hand, a terrifying soul power surged, while in his right hand, an equally powerful spiritual force gathered. Three distinctly different forces manifested in front of Xiao Yan. The moment they appeared, they generated a sky-piercing repulsion, making it impossible for Xiao Yan to bring his hands together. "Damn it! How can I not control my own power? Merge for me!" Xiao Yan roared internally. "What is Xiao Yan?" The heavenly fire sacred tiger noticed the terrifying energy forming within Xiao Yan's body, turning its head in astonishment. The fearsome Lotus of Desolation embodied the destructive power of fire, while the terrifying soul power could obliterate an enemy's neural center. The spiritual force, on the other hand, could imprison an opponent's mind. This was Xiao Yan's first time attempting to fuse all of his internal powers. "I wonder just how terrifying this power can be," Xiao Yan muttered, licking his lips, which had dried slightly from the heat of the flames. Xiao Yan continued to control the vast soul power and the spiritual force imprinted with his life inscription, desperately suppressing the three forces in an attempt to calm them down. "He's really a madman," muttered Xiao Huanyao and Luoguang from the ground, astonished by Xiao Yan's actions. They could all sense that the three terrifying powers in Xiao Yan's hands, each individually, held enough destructive potential to annihilate them. "Damn it! Just a little more!" Xiao Yan's pupils shrank, his eyes bloodshot as he frantically compressed the three forces in his hands. The invisible soul power and spiritual force clashed violently, as if mortal enemies, devouring each other wildly. Meanwhile, the Lotus of Desolation floated serenely between Xiao Yan's hands, untouched by the struggle of the other two forces. However, when it came to pure destructive might, neither the overwhelming soul power nor the spiritual force could compare to the terrifying might of the Lotus of Desolation, formed by the fusion of 23 types of heavenly flames. "Damn it! If this continues, my Do-Chi will run out before I can fully merge them, and I'll end up dead from exhaustion," Xiao Yan cursed inwardly. He realized that the amount of Do-Chi required to compress both the soul power and the spiritual force into the Lotus of Desolation was enormous. In just a short time, nearly half of his Do-Chi had already been consumed. Just as Xiao Yan was about to despair, a sudden flash of light appeared in his hand. In an instant, a mysterious and profound rune flickered and vanished. "It's the soul-devouring talisman from the ghost realm." The flash went unnoticed by others, but Xiao Yan, filled with surprise, realized that the talisman had released a powerful black force, imbued with an overwhelming devouring ability. The moment it appeared, the devouring force subdued the clashing soul power and spiritual force as if pacifying them. With the forces now calm, Xiao Yan grinned. Wasting no time, he activated the flame mantra, compressing the terrifying soul power and spiritual force into the Lotus of Desolation. However, Xiao Yan failed to notice that a pitch-black energy, emanating from the soul-devouring talisman, had also merged into the Lotus. This dark energy carried a deeply sinister and destructive aura. "There's no point in struggling anymore. Your strength is fading, And you're no longer in my league, Chang Yu said calmly. Damn old man, lying in wait. Yin Xie shouted in frustration, clearly enraged. He hadn't expected that the righteous path of mystic three heavens would be so well prepared, and now, things were looking grim. Yin Xie looked at the powerful Do Qi radiating from Chang Yu and knew that this man was a peak 7-star Do Di. Moreover, Chang Yu was at full strength, with his Do Qi completely intact and ready for battle. Yin Xie, on the other hand, despite having assimilated the white-clad woman's will and becoming the complete twin ghost emperor without needing Xiao Yan, was still not at his full potential. After breaking free from his seal, his strength hadn't fully recovered, and the battle with the Nine-Soul Steel and others had left him drained. Although he now possessed the strength of an 8-star ghost emperor, comparable to a human 8-star Do Di, his power was significantly depleted. Yin Xie's condition was dire, his body ravaged by the purification power of the Nine-Soul Steel's immortal sword. His current strength was barely enough to handle a 6-star Do Di, let alone someone as strong as Chang Yu, a peak 7-star Do Di. Yin Xie's expression darkened as he studied Chang Yu, clearly deep in thought. So this is the plan you've been working on for years, Chang Yu sighed, shaking his head as he glanced at the battle on the ground. Although the ghostly creatures appeared to have the upper hand, Qiu Huanyao and the others were slowly turning the tide. With each passing moment, the ghost army was being driven back. The most ferocious fighter among them was a woman wielding a miniature snake in her jade-like hand. Yueyu and Mu Feng focused on defense, allowing the woman to unleash her full power. Seeing this, Mu Lu became furious. A bunch of useless fools, he cursed, then turned to the people from Crimson Valley behind him. Why aren't you joining the fight? Why should we listen to you? We only take orders from our valley master. We won't follow anyone else's commands, said a burly man as he stepped forward. Damn Crimson Valley, playing games with me. Mu Lu gritted his teeth in frustration, making a mental note of their defiance. Seeing his ghost army crumbling on the battlefield, Mu Lu decided to hide, wary of the human experts around him. See, Yin Xie, Chang Yu said quietly, watching Yin Xie from above. It seems your time is up. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan was still focused on fusing his powers, gathering something unimaginably terrifying. The exquisitely crafted Lotus of Desolation, glowing with 23 colors, was enveloped by 2 layers of invisible power. Once these layers completely wrapped around the lotus, the fusion would be complete. Fortunately, thanks to Chang Yu drawing attention and Xiao Yan's careful concealment, this action went unnoticed by others. To bystanders, it merely appeared as though Xiao Yan was meditating. Nearby, Mu Yingying had returned to her senses, still perplexed by the familiar feeling that had emanated from Yin Xie's heart earlier. That feeling, it was as if she had encountered it before. This had led to her earlier distraction, but now that she had regained her composure, she surveyed the battlefield and noticed a powerful figure holding Yin Xie at bay. Her gaze then shifted to Xiao Yan. That kid, what is he doing? Mu Yingying bit her lip as her bright eyes shifted repeatedly. Suddenly, a look of astonishment flashed across her face. How does this kid have so many sources of flame? And he's actually merging them. Mu Yingying covered her lips with her delicate hand, unable to fully conceal her immense shock. She herself possessed a powerful flame and was well aware of its terrifying power. Even with her peak 4-star Do Di strength, she wouldn't dare attempt such a technique. It was clear that Xiao Yan was both extremely skilled and incredibly daring. It's time to end this. High above, Chang Yu noticed the ghostly creatures on the ground falling back in defeat. His voice was calm, but as he spoke, he pushed his Do Qi to its absolute limit. A ripple of invisible energy spread across the 3rd layer of the forest of Yin corpses. Sigh. This time, we've really miscalculated. I never thought it would turn out this way, Yin Xie muttered, resigned to the situation. Malevolent ghost spirit, initiate it. Let these humans witness the true power of the ghost realm, Yin Xie said calmly. As he finished speaking, the malevolent ghost spirit's body began to swell violently, a surge of terrifying ghostly qi filling his entire form. This is not good. Hong Ye's eyes turned slightly red, and she shouted in realization. Boom. 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 However, her warning came too late. The bodies of the Crimson Valley members she had brought along swelled, just like the malevolent ghost spirits, expanding uncontrollably. Chang Yu, the incense pavilion and I have deep-seated enmity. Yin Xie's voice was filled with malice. This time, stay and savor the fear of death. As Yin Xie finished, a mysterious power erupted from within him, and above the sky, a terrifying blood-red vortex roared into existence. As the vortex formed, countless ghostly beings, along with the malevolent ghost spirit and the members of Crimson Valley, rushed into it without hesitation. A deathly aura, saturated with blood-red energy, began to spread ominously across the battlefield.